National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the national news of Rupavahini ChannelEye. I'm Delanjali Ananda.
I'm Charita Miniprarachi, and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
Price of imported milk powder decreases. The Parliament approves the Aswasuma new welfare benefit payment scheme. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa says that ex-principal compensation case was filed in Singapore under the advice of a leading Australian law firm. Former Prime Minister Imran Khan is granted bail. Before those and other stories in detail on your top story. Minister of Trade Nalin Fernando says that the government has decided to reduce the price of milk powder by 200 rupees per kilo.
And this will be effective from the 15th of this month. At a press briefing held in Colombo today, the minister said that there will be no change in the prices of wheat flour and sugar. Minister of Trade Nalin Fernando said that the importers have agreed to reduce the price by 200 rupees per kilo. Wholesale price of sugar will remain unchanged for another month. Although the price of wheat flour has decreased in the world market, the tax on it has increased.
The Aswasama new welfare benefit payment scheme proposed under the Welfare Benefit Act was approved by the Parliament without a vote. Several parliamentarians expressed their views over this scheme. State Minister Shehan Singh has said that there is a strong criticism over the payment of welfare allowances. Therefore, the government will have discussions with the international stakeholders in this regard. The payment will be made in a transparent manner without any political influence. The government will select the most suitable and entitled families for this welfare scheme. The government will never remove any person who has genuine needs for welfare benefits.
ඔවුන්ගේ ආර්ථික මට්ටම ශක්තිමත් කරගන්න වැඩපිළිවෙලක් සකස් කළ යුතු සුදුසුම කණ්ඩායම හඳුනාගෙන ඔවුන් සඳහා ආධාර ලබා දීමයි කරන්නේ. ඒකට අපි පදනම් කරගත්තේ අපේ රටේ 140ක් වෙච්ච 15ම ආදායම් මට්ටම් ලබන කණ්ඩායම. මේ පනත මං හිතන්නේ කාලේ
Parliamentarian Kabir Hashim said that this bill is a very important bill presented to the Parliament after a long time. Poverty is not inherent condition for any person. A committee is to be appointed to select 2.2 million individuals out of the 3.6 applicants. We are unable to assure that the committee would act impartially and in a transparent manner.
දිස්ත්‍රික්ක මට්ටමේ කමිටුවක් දානවා මේ ලක්ෂ 36න් ලක්ෂ 22 තෝරා ගන්න කියලා. ඒ කමිටුව අපක්ෂපාතීව විනිවිදභාවයෙන් මේ රාජකාරිය කරයිද කියන සහතිකය අපිට කොහොමද දෙන්නේ? ඔබතුමා යෝජනාවක් කරන්න
State Minister Shehan Singh has said that the opposition should propose a better system to carry out this in a transparent manner rather than with the help of district and divisional secretaries. The government has selected the most reliable officials to carry out this process.
ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම්තුමා නම් ඒ තමන්ගේ ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් කොට්ටාසය තුල කරන්නේ මං හිතන්නේ ඊට වඩා විනිවිදභාවයක් එන්න බෑ. ඒ හින්දා හොඳම විශ්වාසය දෙන නිලධාරීන් අපි තෝරගෙන තියෙනවා. මම විශ්වාස කරනවා.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that the government should do this genuinely without deceiving the general public. He added that the cost of the project is 824 million rupees. However, the administrative cost is about 331 million rupees, and 40% of the amount goes to the administration process.
Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says that the Ministry of Finance should submit report to the Parliament monthly on the current financial situation in the country. The minister made these remarks in response to a question raised by opposition parliamentarians in the House today with regard to an issue of treasury bills. Parliamentarian Kabir Hashim said that a proposal has been approved to issue treasury bills worth 8 trillion rupees. This country has become bankrupted due to the printing of money. Parliamentarian Lakshman Kiriyala said that the proposal has been passed within 1 minute, but there is no debate on this matter. State Minister Shehan Semasinga said that the government has clearly explained the need to increase the limit of issuance of treasury bills. The Finance Committee had discussed this matter with all relevant officials prior to approval. This meeting was not completed within 1 minute.
මුදල් කාරක සභාව රැස් වෙච්ච අවස්ථාවේ ඒ මුදල් කාරක සභාව ගරු කතානායකතුමනි මිනිත්තුවෙන් අවසන් වුණේ නැහැ. ඒ පිළිබඳව මහා භාණ්ඩාගාරය නියෝජනය කරන නිලධාරීන් විසින් පැහැදිලි කිරීමක් ගරු කතානායකතුමනි පක්ෂ නායක රැස්වීමට කරපු පැහැදිලි කිරීමම මේ අවශ්‍යතාවය පිළිබඳව පැහැදිලි කරා. ඒ වගේම එළබෙන සඳුදා දිනේදී අපි සිදු කළ යුතු ගෙවීම් පිළිබඳවත් සඳහන් කළා. ඉතින් මේ සියල්ල පුළුල්ව සාකච්ඡා කළා තමයි ගරු කතානායකතුමනි මේ මුදල් කාරක සභාව අනුමැතිය ලබා දුන්නේ. හැම මාසෙකම මේ
Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that whoever holds the post of the treasury, it can't bear the expenditure. This is a problem in Sri Lanka throughout the history. The problem was solved in the past by obtaining loans and printing money.
The Met Department says cyclonic storm Mocha over southeast Bay of Bengal has intensified into a severe cyclonic storm. The departments further indicated that the storm is likely to move north-northeastwards with further intensification and the system. Meanwhile, the irrigation department says that water level of severe major rivers has risen considerably due to heavy rains. Now, Minister Vijaydas Rajapaksa says that the Express Pearl ship compensation case was filed in the High Court in Singapore under the guidance given by a leading Australian legal firm.
The minister made these comments at a media briefing held in this ministry. Minister Vijaydas Rajapaksa said that the Attorney General's Department received advice from 3 law specialized firms prior to filing the case. This is not a decision taken ad hoc manner. A leading Australian law firm has instructed the Attorney General to file this case at the Singapore High Courts. In addition, British law firm will also provide legal advice for the success of this case.
මතය විදියට ප්‍රකාශ කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේම නඩුව සිංගප්පූරු මහාධිකරණයේ පවරන්නේ. ඊට අමතරව මහා බ්‍රිතාන්‍යයේ නීතිඥ ආයතනයක් සහ රාජනීතිඥවරයෙක් අපි යොදාගෙන තිබෙනවා එංගලන්තයේ අධිකරණයේ මේ සීමා කිරීම ඉවත් කිරීම සඳහා නඩුවේ කටයුතු කරන්න. ඒතර මේකෙදි මම පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේදී ඉල්ලීමක් කරා මේ සම්බන්ධව පාර්ලිමේන්තු තීරීම් කාරක සභාව පත් කරන්න කියලා. ඒ තීරීම් කාරක සභාව පත් කරන්න කියලා ඉල්ලුවේ මේ නඩුවේ කටයුතු ඉහළ බලන්න නෙවෙයි පාර්ලිමේන්තු තීරීම් කාරක සභාව පත් කරන්න කියලා ඉල්ලුවේ කරුණු දෙකක් සම්බන්ධව. පළවෙනි එක තමයි නිව් ඩයමන්ඩ් නෞකාව ඇයි අපේ මුදු සීමාවෙන් එළියට ගෙනියන්න දුන්නේ. එළියට ගෙනියන්න දුන්නේ නැත්නම් මේ වෙන විට අපේ වන්දි මුදල සම්පූර්ණයෙන් අපි අය කරගෙන ඉවරයි. එහෙනම් ඒකේ වගකීම ගන්න ඕන කවුද? එක්ස්ප්‍රස් පර්ල් නෞකාව සම්බන්ධව තියෙන වෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඇයි ඒක ලංකාවේ ජල තීරයට ඇතුල් වෙන්න ඉඩ දුන්නේ? කවුද ඉඩ දුන්නේ? ඒ නැවේ විකිරණ ද්‍රව්‍ය කාන්දු වීමක් සිද්ධ වෙන බව කල්තියා දැනගෙන තිබියදී ඒ කරුණු දෙක මේකේ නොවිසඳී පවතින කරුණු දෙකක්.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court orders a motion to be summoned on the 24th of this month, which was filed requesting an order to be issued to the Marine Pollution Prevention Authority to submit compensation report relevant to the Express Pearl ship fire incident to the courts. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that the education sector will be fully modernized in the next 10 years to create a young generation fully equipped with knowledge and skills.
The President made this comment at the opening ceremony of Sri Lanka Skills Expo 2023 exhibition. The President also pointed out that if the money spent on corporations during the past 10 years is invested on education, Sri Lanka would have the best education in Asia. President Ranil Wickremesinghe stated this while
Singh said that when the expenses of the country for the last 10 years, he noticed that the country spent money on corporations while neglecting education. Had we given the money that was used for Sri Lankan Airlines, Electricity Board and Petroleum Corporation to the education and health sector, the country would be in a position to compete with the other countries that have the best education systems in South Asia. Unfortunately, the country did not do that and now it has to pay the debt. The President said that he decided not to allocate funds for similar projects in the future. The country needs a strong educational system and the most crucial aspect of the system is providing pupils with the necessary information. We also need plans to provide qualifications for jobs after providing school education. The government alone cannot provide the necessary training to impart this knowledge. The majority of such training and knowledge is obtained outside the government. We must collaborate with private and international organizations that have this knowledge. We will start modernization of education from here. We are entering a new world.
විදේශ ආයතන ඒ ආයත එකතු කරගෙන අපි වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ. අන්න මේ වැඩසටහන තමයි අපි ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න ඉන්නේ. එහෙනම් අධ්‍යාපනයේ නවීකරණය අපි මෙතන ඉඳන් ආරම්භ කරගෙන යන්නේ.
It is with great gratitude that I extend my heartfelt thanks for the gracious invitation to be a part of this magnificent Skills Expo 2023. As I walked through the expo with the president, I was quite impressed by the variety of skilled training that are offered today, including state-of-art technologies. And I hope that many young people in Sri Lanka will find their opportunities to acquire skills and contribute to the recovery of Sri Lanka. And I would like to extend my congratulations on the success of the project, demonstrating innovative approaches for private sector and women's empowerment in TVET sector, and project by the Asian Development Bank. Having overcome the worst time of economic crisis, and aims to uplift the labor sector, which is a foundation for the economic growth. I am delighted that Japan was able to support this project through Japan Fund for Prosperous and Resilient Asia and Pacific, JFPR. And I would like to express my gratitude to all those involved for the efforts to make it a success.
In the Ministry of Education, for the first time, general education, higher education, technical education, vocation training, science, technology and research. All these 4 key subjects are under one umbrella. So that is why we organize this type of exhibition for the first time in Sri Lanka. Now you can see there are thousands of students who are studying at GC O-level or A-levels coming from all over the places. And so there are 3 pillars in education. That is knowledge, attitudes and skills. So what we are lacking is skills. So therefore, we have to start separate institutions to develop skills. But with the guidance of His Excellency the President, we are going to change the system of education. We have to transform education with the assistance of Asian Development Bank, JFPR, who funded originally for these projects. The project started in 2016, but we continue it. So there are so many institutions under the Ministry of Education, German Tech, VTA, NITA, and then we have branches all over the island, over 200 branches for career guidance projects and skills development. So this is one of the events organized by 5 sectoral committees headed by private sector. This is an ideal example how we can work together, the public sector and the private sector. That is what we need.
meanwhile, President Ranil Wickremesinghe announced that Sri Lanka is establishing the world's first international environmental university to support the global effort in addressing climatic changes. The President acknowledged that although the climatic change is a significant challenge for the world, there is no central research hub to study it, and invited multiple countries to join Sri Lanka in the effort. He made these remarks during an event held in Colombo. The President shared these views during the 10th Environmental Pioneer President's Medal Awarding Ceremony 2020-2021 held at the BMICH. The ceremony recognized the excellent service of teachers, schools, regional environmental officials and officers within 129 environmental pioneers being awarded presidential medals. The Environment Pioneer President Medal is the highest accolade under the National Environment Pioneer President's Medal, and the winner received an additional 4 points in university entrance. Aralaganville Villalala National School was awarded as the best school, producing 14 Environment Pioneer President's Medal winners, while the Central Provincial Office of the Central Environment Authority received the award for the best office, guided the most significant number of Environment Pioneer President Medal awards. President Wickremesinghe said that they must be prepared to face the challenges of climatic change. As a country, he said that the challenges that they have taken many steps to address these issues, including the creation of a climatic change hub and the introduction of new rules to protect the Singharaja Forest, Horton Plains, Sripada Sites and the Knuckles Range. Recognizing the importance of addressing climatic change, he said that they believe it should be included in school and university curricula. The President said that they are planning to establish the International University of Climatic Change, which will be the world's first international environmental university. He said that the government expects to provide opportunities for post-graduation and research work. Currently, there is no center in the world dedicated to conducting research on climatic change, he added. Therefore, the President said that the government is taking steps to start the International University on Climate Change by establishing that center in Sri Lanka. He said that they hope to carry out this work with the participation of many countries and give membership of the governing board to those countries and organizations. The President said that they believe that 2,000 to 3,000 people will enroll in this university every year, receiving the necessary training and build a great relationship with the world. He said that they hope they will support that the Sri Lankan can provide to face climatic changes. Therefore, he said that the government has discussed this with a number of government and will be presenting information on this at this conference on climatic change in Dubai this year.
State Minister of Finance Ranjit Singh says that the credit limit that can be earned by selling treasury bonds has been increased by 1,000 billion rupees. The State Minister points out that this is the advantageous to the government in obtaining short-term loans locally. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Singh said that the IMF program always stresses the need to make Sri Lanka economically established as it was in the past. The final results of this program will benefit the public. During the previous budget, the Parliament approved to obtain loans amounting to 4,969 million rupees. Today, we have decided to increase the debt receiving limit up to 6,000 million rupees.
Foreign Minister Ali Sabri engages in bilateral discussions with Swedish Foreign Minister Tobias Billström during his visit to Stockholm, Sweden. The meeting was held on the sidelines of the second Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum. During the meeting, both the ministers directed their attention on enhancing trade and investment and shared opinions on reconciliation, economic recovery and reforms. Minister Sabri left for Stockholm, Sweden yesterday to attend the second Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum, which will commence tomorrow. This forum is organized under the Swedish presidency of the Council of the European Union in collaboration with the European External Action Service. The foreign ministers of the European Union and Indo-Pacific region are expected to attend. Foreign Minister Ali Sabri expected to co-chair the first round of table discussions under the theme of building more sustainable and inclusive prosperity together, one of 3 round tables of the forum. Minister Sabri will also hold bilateral discussions with a number of participating foreign ministers, including foreign ministers of Austria, Denmark, Finland, Latvia, Netherlands and Romania. The minister is also scheduled to meet business community, especially CEOs and senior officials of the industry in Sweden. Stay tuned for more local stories after this break.
Prima Kotumi, Fantamai.
Welcome back with more local stories. And the Department of Immigration and Immigration has taken steps to introduce new system to issue passports.
This new system will be implemented in another 2 weeks. However, the department says that passports will be issued to the people who have already reserved dates or are on emergency leaves. Controller General of Immigration and Immigration, Harsha Ilukpitia, requests the public who have not reserved dates not to visit the department premises until the new system will be arranged. Controller General of Immigration and Immigration, Harsha Ilukpitia, said that the documents of the applicants are checked at the department premises. If our staff officers are satisfied with the documents, the applicants are allowed to enter the office. Therefore, the department kindly requests the people to not come in the next 2 weeks to obtain passports.
The U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen urged the U.S. Congress to raise the $31.4 trillion federal debt limit and avert an unprecedented default that would trigger a global economic downturn and risk undermining U.S. global economic leadership. U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen issued the latest in a series of increasingly stark warnings in remarks prepared for a press conference ahead of a meeting in Japan with her counterparts from the group of 7 rich nations as well as India, Indonesia and Brazil. U.S. President Joe Biden on recently that the failure by the U.S. Congress to act before Treasury runs out of money to pay the government bills, which could occur as early as June 1st, risk throwing the U.S. economy into a recession. U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen said that the threat of default could lead to a downgrade of the U.S. government's credit rating as occurred during a debt ceiling flight in 2011. It could drive interest rate high on mortgages and auto payments and credit cards, Yellen said, noting that rates were already spiking on debt due to the June 1st. The U.S. economy would suffer a substantial hit if Treasury was no longer able to issue debt, not to mention the impact of financial markets and institutions and consumer confidence, she said, calling the prospect unthinkable. She has further indicated that the United States had taken actions to strengthen confidence in its banking system after the failure of 3 regional banks.
The National Transport Commission has taken measures to run SLTB and private buses under a joint timetable. In addition, GPS technology will be introduced for all buses. The GPS system has been arranged in order to clearly identify the bus halting places of the inter-provincial long-distance services. At a press briefing held in Colombo today, Director General of the Commission, Dr. Nat Miranda, revealed these facts.
Director General of the National Transport Commission, Dr. Nalinda Biranda, said that 1/3 of the buses out of the registered buses under the Commission have been fixed with GPS equipment. All other buses will also be given this facility in future.
Now we have more news from home in brief. A couple who had spent the night at a camp erected in Ududiyalume area close to the Diyalume waterfalls in Koslanda have been attacked by wild elephants. The woman of the couple died on the spot and the man has been hospitalized with injuries. This area is very much popular among tourists and night campers. A promotional program of Tendral FM and City FM of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation was held today at the corporation premises. Promotional stickers were pasted on 3-wheelers. The first group of women sailors of the Navy was mobilized in the SLNS Gajabahu for sea duties. This is the first time a team of women was deployed to sea duties in the history of Sri Lanka Navy. The team is included with 2 female officers and 5 mariners. Heart to Heart International Organization of USA donated a consignment of medicine worth $5.7 million to Sri Lanka. This is the 5th donation of medicine by this organization to Sri Lanka. This stock of essential medicine was brought to the island recently under the guidance of Sri Lankan Ambassador in Washington, Mahinda Samarasinghe. Now, the Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that with the decision taken by the government to develop the nursing college into a university, the nursing service in the country will be subjected to a revolution in future.
The Premier made these remarks participating in a ceremony organized by the Public Service Nurses Union to mark the International Nurses Day that falls today. The birthday of Madame Florence Nightingale, who pioneered the nursing service, is considered as the International Nurses' Day. This ceremony to mark the day was held at the Temple Trace today. President of the Public Service Nurses Union, Venerable Muruthettuwe Anandathera, said that all nurses should act to protect the hard-won dignity of the profession.
උන්වහන්සේ බාරගත්ත දිනේ සිට එම ජයග්‍රහණ රාශියකට පැමිණ තිබෙනවා.
Eswani was presented to the Prime Minister for his service rendered to the health sector. Eswani was offered to Venerable Muruthettuwe Anandathera as well for his service rendered to the nursing profession in Sri Lanka. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, Parliamentarian Vajira Abeyewardena and several others were present on this occasion. Meanwhile, another ceremony to mark the Nurses' Day was held at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute. The Government Nurses Union has organised this event. Several persons who contributed immensely to the health sector were facilitated at this occasion. President's Trade Union Director General Saman Ratnapriya and Chief of Presidential Staff Sagala Ratnayaka were present.
Buddhist people around the world celebrated the Vesak festival in a grand manner. Vesak celebrations are not held only in Sri Lanka but also around the world in foreign countries. The Vesak festival was organized in Sri Lankan Embassy in Beijing under the patronage of Venerable Dr. Bodhagama Chandimathera and under the guidance of Ambassador Dr. Palitha Kohona. The Vesak lantern created by the students of Maithri National School in Bandaragama was exhibited at school premises during the last week. Principal and the teaching staff of the school also supported the students for this purpose. We'll be back with international stories after this break.
Prima Katumi Fantamai.
On foreign news, Pakistan's ex-Prime Minister Imran Khan is to be freed from custody a day after the Supreme Court ruled his dramatic arrest on corruption charges was illegal.
The court also ordered that the former Pakistani Premier could not be arrested on the charges for 2 weeks. Despite the ruling, the corruption charges against ex-Prime Minister still stand. The former Pakistan Prime Minister, who was arrested on last Tuesday as he arrived at a coast house in Islamabad, pleaded not guilty to the charges when a judge formally indicted him with the corruption for the first time in the dozens of cases he faces. Officially says Prime Minister Khan unlawfully sold state gift during his premiership in a case brought by Pakistan's Election Commission.
Katumi Fantamai.
On sports news, it's a proud day for the Sri Lankan women's cricket team as they won the 3-match T20 series against Bangladesh T20 2-1 today by winning the third T20 match by 44 runs.
The match was played at the SSC grounds in Colombo. Batting first, Sri Lanka team scored 158 runs for 3 wickets. Nilakshita Silva 63 not out and Harshita Samaravikrama 51 not out. In reply, Bangladesh could only score 114 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. Nika Sultana scored 31. Udeshika Prabodhini, Kavya Kavindi and Inoka Ranavida claimed 2 wickets each.
And we'll receive the trophy from
A discussion between Sports Minister Roshan Ranasinghe and Vice Chairman of the International Cricket Council Imran Khawaja was held at the Sports Ministry yesterday. The Sports Minister says that he had come to Sri Lanka to look into alleged political interference in Sri Lanka cricket administration. The minister stressed that cricket is the most popular sport in Sri Lanka, and as the minister he is committed to uphold the responsibilities of the game on behalf of the people and the parliament. The minister explained his overall plan to develop the game with support of all stakeholders to the ICC envoy.
Prima Katumi Fantamai.
us tomorrow at the very same time for the very latest on ChannelEye. I'm Dilanjali, together with Charita, signing off. Good night.
Good night.